Welcome. You're tuned into Tangled Threads. If you're digging our content, hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you. My name is Austin, and for years, I thought I had it all. A stable job at a local law firm, a beautiful home, and a wife, Alexis, who seemed to complete my world. Our life together was like a scene from those old romantic movies, filled with laughter and shared dreams. Alexis took a job at the town's favorite pizza place, a small gig to break the monotony of being at home. I never minded. I was happy to be the one providing for us. But as time passed, I noticed subtle changes in her. She became distant, her vibrant energy dimming. I attributed it to work stress, or perhaps the routine of our daily lives. I wish I had paid more attention. One average day at work, I got a call that shattered the tranquility of my life. The manager of the pizza place, in a voice mixed with disbelief and discomfort, told me Alexis had been caught in an affair, right in the kitchen. Worse, she was fired and was now causing a scene, refusing to leave. My heart sank. The phone call had left me stunned, my hands trembling as I hung up. I couldn't believe what I'd just heard. Alexis, having an affair? In the kitchen of all places? It was surreal, like a bad dream. I grabbed my coat and rushed out of the office, barely acknowledging my bewildered colleagues. The drive to the pizza place was a blur. My mind raced with questions and disbelief. How could this happen? What went wrong? As I neared the place, the familiar neon sign seemed to mock me with its cheerful glow. I parked haphazardly and hurried inside. The scene that greeted me was chaotic. Customers and staff were gathered in small clusters, whispering and shooting glances towards the kitchen area. The manager, a middle-aged man with a usually jovial face, now wore an expression of deep distress. "Austin? Thank God you're here," he said as I approached. "I'm so sorry you have to see this." I nodded, unable to form words. My eyes searched the crowd until I saw her. Alexis. She was cornered by two police officers, her face streaked with tears, her body language defensive and erratic. "Alexis," I called out, pushing through the crowd. She turned towards me, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and relief. "Austin, I didn't mean for this to happen," she stammered, her voice breaking. I reached her just as the officers were trying to calm her down. "Sir, please step back," one of them said firmly. "No, wait, she's my wife. Let me talk to her," I pleaded, my heart aching at the sight of her distress. The officers exchanged a glance, then nodded, stepping back slightly. I turned to Alexis, taking her hands in mine. They were cold and trembling. "Alexis, what happened? Why are you doing this?" My voice was a mix of desperation and confusion. She sobbed, struggling to speak. "I'm so sorry, Austin. I felt trapped, lost. It was a mistake, a horrible mistake." I could hear the murmurs around us, the shocked faces of people we knew, people who respected us. It was humiliating, but at that moment, all I could think about was the woman in front of me, the woman I loved. "Come on, let's get you out of here," I whispered, trying to lead her away. But the officers intervened. "Sir, we have to take her in. She's been involved in an illegal act," one of them said, his tone sympathetic but firm. I felt a sense of helplessness wash over me as they handcuffed Alexis and led her outside. The crowd parted silently, their eyes following us. I followed, my mind reeling, trying to process the surreal turn of events. As they put Alexis in the police car, she looked back at me, her eyes filled with tears and regret. "I'm sorry, Austin," she whispered. I stood there, watching as the car drove away, taking a part of my life with it. The pizza place, once a symbol of our community's unity and joy, was now a reminder of my personal tragedy. I turned to walk back through the silent crowd, each step heavier than the last, my mind a whirlpool of emotions and unanswered questions. The aftermath was like a bad dream. The pizza place, a cornerstone of our community, shut down due to health concerns and the scandal. People I'd known for years looked at me differently. I was the husband of the woman who ruined everyone's favorite spot. Navigating the legal troubles and the whispers was a challenge, but the hardest part was coming to terms with the fact that the woman I thought I knew, the woman I loved, was now a stranger. The distance in her eyes made sense now, but it didn't ease the pain. In the weeks that followed, I spent a lot of time reflecting. I had to face the reality of my broken marriage, the lost trust, and the need to rebuild my life. I started attending a local support group, where I met others who had faced similar betrayals. Their stories, filled with pain and eventual healing, gave me hope. Slowly, I began to find my footing again. I focused on my work, reconnected with old friends, and even started dabbling in hobbies I'd long forgotten. The journey wasn't easy, but it taught me about resilience, forgiveness, and the unexpected twists life can throw at you. In a strange twist of fate, the closure of the pizza place opened up opportunities for new businesses. A quaint coffee shop opened in its place, becoming a new gathering spot for the community. I found comfort there, in the new beginnings it symbolized. As for Alexis, we eventually divorced. It was a tough decision, but necessary for my healing. I learned that sometimes, love isn't enough to fix what's broken, and that's okay. Life moves on, and so did I, carrying the lessons of this experience with me. And that's the story of how my wife got everyone's favorite pizza place closed down, and how, amidst the chaos and heartache, I found a way to start anew. Update. As the time passed, the dust settled on the initial chaos of the scandal. I was slowly piecing my life back together, focusing on work, and finding solace in small, everyday routines. But the universe had another curveball in store for me. One brisk afternoon, I received a call from a former colleague of Alexis at the pizza place. Hesitant yet determined, she revealed the identity of the man Alexis had the affair with. It was none other than a recently hired cook, someone I had met a couple of times at social gatherings. The man's name was Carl, and honestly, fuck that guy. The news hit me like a ton of bricks. I remembered his face, the casual hellos, and the way he'd sometimes watch Alexis. It all made a sickening sense now. As time went on, word spread, and the pizza place began shutting down. Thanks to Alexis, she broke multiple health codes, and wasn't even doing her job properly, causing many other health code errors as well. But there was more. Alexis was pregnant. The realization sent a cascade of emotions through me: anger, betrayal, sadness, and, oddly, a sense of concern for Alexis. Despite everything, the thought of her dealing with this alone was troubling. I arranged to meet Alexis, who was out on bail and staying with a friend. The meeting was tense, the air heavy with unspoken words and hurt feelings. She looked different, tired, remorseful, and scared. "Austin, I'm pregnant," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I had already known, yet hearing it from her made it all the more real. "Is it?" I couldn't finish the sentence. She nodded, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you like this." The conversation that followed was difficult. We talked about our past, our lost future, and the life growing inside her. The man she had the affair with, she admitted, was not ready to be a father. He was struggling with his own demons, barely able to hold down a job. It was then that I made a decision, not just for myself, but for the unborn child. I would file for divorce, but I would also ensure that the child was taken care of. I contacted a lawyer, discussing the possibilities of custody and support. The lawyer was clear. Unless Alexis and the father got their lives together, they wouldn't be fit for custody. I relayed this to Alexis, who was overwhelmed but understood the gravity of the situation. "I'll do whatever it takes," she said, determination in her voice. "This child deserves better than what I've given so far." In the following months, I watched from a distance as Alexis and the cook struggled to turn their lives around. They attended counseling, fought for stable jobs, and prepared for the arrival of their child. It was a bumpy road, filled with setbacks and small victories. As for me, I found closure in the fact that I was doing the right thing, not just for myself, but for a child who deserved a chance at a better life. The pizza place scandal had taken much from me, but it also gave me a perspective on forgiveness, responsibility, and the complex tapestry of human choices. And so, the story continues, with its share of pain and hope, as life often does. Goddamn, cheaters will destroy anything in their paths. Family bonds, good relationships, and even good pizza, apparently. Anyways, let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more Tangled threads.